Welcome, everyone. I am so honored to be leading this service this morning. Kimmy is off. Reverend Kimmy is off today. Hopefully, she's resting well. Ken Hermanot is also off today, although he did us the honor of recording the hymns this morning. I am Joshua Berg, and I'm the ministerial intern at our congregation, Northwest Unitarian Universalist, and welcome to our service. I will be joined today by Diana Kohler, Jan Price, and Alex Myers on the piano. Thank you, Ben Gable, for uh, being the tech behind the scenes this morning. I just want to welcome everyone and wish you uh, a lovely, lovely, blessed, and peaceful morning. There are a few offerings and announcements that I'd like to make before we begin. First of all, the plate collection will be split with the South Oakland shelter this morning, and so please give generously. I know that the service auction today, I believe, is the deadline for making donations. So, there we're going to share the screen there. It'll run November 8th through November 14th, but today, as I said, there's a tutorial at 11:30, and please make your donations by today. We're going to have an amazing service auction. There are many things going on right now at our in our congregation. There are opportunities during the week to engage with Reverend Kimmy, meditation, coffee, and conversation. There is a show up class led by Reverend Kimmy. I went to the class this past week, and it's very good. So if you'd like to join us there, please do. I'm also doing my Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. Oh, well, let's go in order. Youth program. There it is. Black, Indigenous, and People of Color focus class. It went I feel well last month. This month it'll be November 14th, and we're going to focus on BIPOC culture and art. So it'll be really interesting. We're going to play jazz and hip hop and read poetry, and it'll be quite an experience. So if you'd like to join in any of the sessions, you can join in any of the sessions that you wish. That's adult education. There are youth programs. As you know, the youth service is before this service, and it's been wonderful to see our youth engage. Um, so you can register for religious education. Open enrollment is available right now. There's a parent book group. There's a parent check-in. These are just some of the many things that are going on in our wonderful congregation that you can read in the uh, the newsletter and on our website. So I invite you to engage, and I welcome you this morning to this beloved, it may be cyberspace, but it is beloved cyberspace. With that, uh, also social justice and outreach. Don't want to forget that. There is a week of action this week, so join in other UUs um, for social justice and outreach UUs across the country in a week of action around voting, especially. I know many of you have been participating and working hard, and I offer my gratitude so much for all the amazing hard work you're doing. But here are some other opportunities if you want to join. So thank you and welcome. And I'm going to pass the mic to Diana. I have a chalice here that I can light in person. There we go.
We light the chalice as a symbol that we have entered a time and space set aside from the rest of our week. It is a blessing to be able to gather together as a community, even in our separate spaces. We set aside this time for people to share their deepest sorrows and greatest joys of recent days. We invite you to raise your hand using the icon on Zoom, or to raise your hand physically, and we will scroll through and find you. We know there are always joys and sorrows that are left unspoken, and we hold those in our hearts as well.
Welcome again. The reason that I've placed in this service the announcement and the joys and sorrows and this homily first in untraditional order is that from this point on, from the end of the homily, when I ring the chime, I am experimenting. I constructed a service that is meant to be an immersive experience, and I want you to engage with it just as you feel drawn to engage with it. The service will move from examining the mind to refocusing awareness to comprehending the Buddhist idea of no self. And I don't want you to worry too much about thinking about those things. This is meant as a respite. It's meant to just be and engage. If you are led through those awarenesses, that's great. If you are just in a space that takes in the sound and music and words and doesn't process them in any particular way, that's okay too. Now, the mind is not necessarily what we sense or what we know. We all know that thoughts and emotions arise and they fall out of our control. If they're out of our control, how are they ours? Now, although we don't control them, obviously they exist. We're aware of some thoughts and emotions, and we are completely unaware of others as they flow continuously in our mind. So, what I'd like to do, part of this service, is redirect inward. And by redirecting inward at and toward our mind, we can witness our thoughts and emotions from an outside objective perspective, a new awareness. What the mindfulness teacher Locke Kelly calls local awareness is an awareness outside of ourselves that's physically different. It moves our awareness to another location, has the ability to focus in one area outside of ourselves or in our other places in our bodies. Local awareness can become small, it can expand to a larger area. Local awareness can move up and down to the side, it can become identified or disidentified. Locke Kelly compares it to stepping outside of the cloud of our emotions and thoughts. See, sometimes, in fact, always, probably our mind, especially now, is like a storm. It's with thunder and lightning and wind and rain of thoughts and emotions. We know this storm exists in our mind. We all feel it right now. So if we imagine moving outside that storm cloud into the open blue sky, now the cloud's still there, but our awareness can enter and exit the cloud freely. We can see better that as tumultuous as that cloud of emotion and thought is, the sky of consciousness is so vast that no storm can actually hurt it. Our mind is just weather that comes and goes. This is the true nature of mind, according to the Buddhist. And in this true nature, what is always present is this primary consciousness, underlying everything else. When the mind is active or when it's at rest, when we see our thoughts and emotions or when we're unaware, there's always this pure consciousness there. And as we situate outside the mind and into objective awareness of the mind, or as we refocus local awareness to another space altogether, physically distant, we may experience pure consciousness, even fleetingly. I hope we do. Rather than being overwhelmed, though, by powerful thought and emotion, in this state of pure consciousness, from an awareness that is placed outside or above or to the side, we can examine these strong emotions and thoughts rather than being disturbed by them. And when we reflect or objectively witness thoughts and emotions without judgment, defense, reactiveness, when we truly examine them as if we were like another person whispering these things into our own ear, we can see them objectively. We can know how uselessly critical and fearful these unexamined, unaware reactions that we have of desire and selfishness and attachment and ill will and pride truly are. According to the Buddhist monk Matthew Ricard, thoughts emerge from pure consciousness and are then reabsorbed in it, just as waves emerge from the ocean and dissolve into it again. I ask you not to worry or stress today about achieving any semblance of this if it does not arise naturally. Because even without expertise in resting in pure consciousness or awake awareness, the understandings alone bring us closer to inner peace, to realizing what the Buddhists mean by the true nature of mind, the clear, open sky of awareness. I invite you today to this sensory experience in hopes that you move, however far, toward understanding the true nature of mind, awareness, and what the Buddhists call no self. But don't be pressured. Today is not meant to wrestle with the concept of non self or any other concept, complicated concepts. Today is about relaxation. Today is just to know that one reason there is no individual self is because we are all together as a collective self. According to Jay Garfield, another Buddhist philosopher, when we experience ourselves as decentered persons, we experience ourselves as part of a larger network of others whose interests we share, whose pains and pleasures we share as well. This allows the cultivation of the set of virtues known in the Buddhist tradition as the Brahma Viharas, or in English, the divine states. This is a little theology for you. The divine here in collective community includes benevolence. It includes care. It includes sympathetic joy and impartiality. These are our collective states, our collective selves divinely. Today is meant to be a respite from complex thought or strong emotions that seem to be ever present, especially in this time, a respite from a reactionary mind. There may be times when you begin to think critically and hard during this service. It's okay. Don't worry about getting rid of those thoughts. Allow them, observe them, accept that they are there. There may be moments too when you feel strongly, when tears flow, when laughter comes. Allow those emotions to come and go, rise and fall. Observe them, accept them as they are. Do not judge how you are being. Just allow yourself to be. Don't judge yourself if you're not focused on the service. That's okay if it's just playing in the background. If you do focus, if you get intensely engaged in the service, that's wonderful as well. However you are drawn to be. With practice, we can find our way home to an open-hearted presence in the midst of whatever arises. And hopefully this is the first step in a practice. So today, all I ask is that however you are moved, and I wanted to let you know that we will be present in the service as well. All of the readings are live. I am live right now. There will be recorded music and words, but there also will be a live presence here with you at all times. So however you are moved, relax into awareness, allowing the flow of the service experience to guide your physical, mental, and emotional states. Put simpler, choose to engage as you will, with the only requirement of you from this point on is to just breathe.
awareness following the breath home. Try hitching a ride on your breath to help local awareness unhook, drop, and know directly from within. So we'll begin by unhooking local awareness from thinking and have it move a short distance from behind your eyes to where your breath contacts your nostrils. As inhalation occurs next, let local awareness focus completely on this small area of sensation. As exhalation occurs, sense the breath touching the nostrils as it goes out. Experience your awareness knowing your breath from your nostril. Do this for several breaths. And now notice your out breath. And then with the next in breath, allow local awareness to ride the air as it moves from your nostrils down through your throat and into your chest. Now allow local awareness to unhook from the breath and remain with the awake awareness and aliveness below your neck, even as the air goes back up and out again. Notice local awareness opening to the aliveness and spacious awareness both within and outside your body, while not returning to your head and thoughts. Let the feeling of your chest rising and falling with each new breath be the place of contact for your awareness to stay interested in witnessing from within and opening out, letting go and being here and now. Notice the breath happening by itself, as if you are being breathed. Notice that the breath is happening by itself, just as awake awareness is also happening and knowing by itself.
Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life than here and now.
I'm just gonna breathe.
Give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make.
Other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages,
other countries, other stakes.
Till I touch the sorrow neath the rage. I'm just gonna breathe.
Purge the past. Forgive the future, for each comes too soon.
Surrender only to this life, this one, this moment here and now.
Surrender only to this day, this hour, this breath.
Not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it too beckons with beauty,
startles with delight. If only we can keep waking up to this gift. This is the gift we have been given. these body clothes. This heartbreak, it's ours. This pulse, it's ours. This breath, this light, these friends, this hope. All we can do is remember ourselves here. All a part of it all. Still growing together.
I'm just gonna breathe. Until I'm glad to breathe here for a while. We'll give up the thought for some other love. There's hope in the way that you are living. We'll give up the thought for some other love. It's changing, no longer resisting. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. It's gonna breathe, breathe, breathe. Come on and breathe, breathe, breathe. Give up the fight, breathe, breathe. For some other life, breathe, breathe. Give up the fight, breathe, breathe. For some other life, breathe, breathe. I'm just gonna breathe.
Resting in awareness. Look at what is behind the curtain of discursive thought. Try to find a waking presence there, free of mental fabrications, transparent, luminous, untroubled by thoughts of the past, the present, of the future. Try to rest in the present moment, free of concepts. Watch the nature of the gap between thoughts, which is free from mental constructs. Gradually extend the interval between the disappearance of one thought and the emergence of the next. Remain in a state of simplicity that is free of mental constructs, yet perfectly aware, beyond effort, yet alert and mindful. In its true state, consciousness is naked, immaculate, clear, vacuous, transparent, timeless, beyond all conditions. O nobly born, remember the pure open sky of your own true nature. Luminous is consciousness, brightly shining its nature, but it becomes clouded by the attachments that visit it.
First, we conceive of the I and grasp onto it. Then we conceive of the mine and cling to the material world. Like water trapped on a water wheel, we spin in circles, powerless. I praise the compassion that embraces all beings. This erroneous sense of real and independent self is, of course, based on egocentricity, which persuades us that our fate is of far greater value than that of others. If your boss scolds a colleague you hate, berates another one you have no feelings about, or reprimands you bitterly, you will feel pleased or delighted in the first case, indifferent in the second, and deeply hurt in the third. But in reality, what could possibly make the well-being of any one of these three people more valuable than that of the others? The egocentricity that places the self at the center of the world has an entirely relative point of view. Our mistake is in fixing our own point of view and hoping, or worse yet, insisting that our world prevail over that of others.
You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the the way. You don't have to plan the way, just the way. Feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way, the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, just the way. Feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way.
The 18-inch drop from head to heart. Take a few minutes now and glimpse open-hearted awareness for yourself. You can begin by sitting comfortably, eyes open or closed, and simply be aware of all your senses. Notice the activity of thinking in your head. First, unhook local awareness from thought in your head. Next, let local awareness move down through your neck, knowing your neck from within, and then down below your throat into your chest, and then know directly from within your upper body. Become familiar with this kind of direct knowing, which is neither looking down from your head nor going back up to your thoughts. Feel the awareness and aliveness together. Rest without going to sleep, and stay aware without going to thought to know. Feel the awareness that can know both the awareness and the aliveness from within your body. And now notice a feeling of an open-hearted awareness from within the space in the center of your chest. Feel as if you have relocated from your head to this open-hearted awareness, which you are now aware from. Notice that you can invite and welcome any thoughts and emotions into your heart space, so that you can remain at home in open-hearted awareness and have information from the office of your head come to you by Wi-Fi. Inquire within. What does open-hearted awareness know? Wait and feel what it's like to know from this not knowing that knows. Be here. Receive light with your eyes. And look out from the eyes of open-hearted awareness.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears through all the years, singing.
I would lose all notion of what my body is were I to perceive it as a whirlwind of atoms that is never the same for even a millionth of a second. But how quickly I forget that my ordinary perception of my body and of all phenomena is just an approximation of that. In fact, everything is changing at every moment. In clinging to the cramped universe of the ego, we have a tendency to be concerned exclusively with ourselves. The least setback upsets and discourages us. We're obsessed with our success, our failure, our hopes, and our anxieties, and thereby give happiness every opportunity to elude us. The narrow world of the self. Imagine a glass of water into which a handful of salt is thrown. The water becomes undrinkable. If, on the other hand, we breach the barriers of the self and the mind becomes a vast lake, that same handful of salt will have no effect on its taste. Thank you all. I hope this purposeful experience engaged you in ways that were wonderful, in ways that were mysterious, in ways that were good. Everything about it was purposefully planned, from the music to the sound to the color to the visuals. And I'd love for you to talk about in breakout rooms how your body feels, how your mind feels, where you went during the service, and explore awareness in that way. I also want to remind people that you can stay in the main room for the service auction tutorial if you want at 11:30. If you're forced into a breakout room, you can also return to the main session. And with that, I wish you peace.